the thing you saw, maybe you didn't see that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks, was this trip I took to Free Geek. So Free Geek is a local nonprofit here in the Twin Cities area, and they serve the community in a few different ways. One is by taking in e-waste or taking in electronics, used electronics, whether they're good, bad, or broken or perfect. They'll take them in, they'll assess them, see if they can be refurbished, and if they can be refurbished, they clean them up, put them in their electronics thrift store. They put them there, and they sell them to the community at a super low price. And so that's one way that they can, take in your electronics and do good in the community. Another way is just keeping that e-waste out of the landfills. So they break everything down. They'll recycle everything that they can. And then things that can't be recycled, they'll give it to another place who then breaks that down. So, but it's pretty cool. I got to spend some time with Kyle and Ben out there and kind of see what it was all about and what their mission is, and look at the thrift store, and it was pretty fun. I know that this is a little bit different from my usual content, but I wanted to do something different, and I was genuinely looking for how to kind of get rid of some of the stuff that I've been holding on to for a really long time. Like there are things I'm holding on to, especially my core bin. Like I will never use them, and I'm always debating, like, do I put a cord in the recycling bin? Will that get to the right place? The answer is probably not. And the answer is probably, find an e-waste or a recycling place that does get things to the place where they belong. And so that's what Free Geek does for our community. There are plenty of other ones in other communities and even in our own. And so I decided to focus on that one. So anyways, that was super fun. I have a couple more things. I have some hardware I'm testing. I always testing hardware. I've got a couple of things in the pipeline. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on. I every time I get a video out, I'm just like, whew, but on to the next. So I already started on the next this morning. So anyways, let's see what you're up to. I'd rather talk about what you're up to than what I'm up to, and I just want to kind of get that out of the way. And so I just didn't blab about it. Let me see real quick. So let's see. I'm gonna look for here. Tim, are you streaming? Oh, never fear. Boris is here. Tim, are you streaming full time now or have a regular job? No. Yes. No. I don't know what the answer is. I don't have full time anything right now. I'm part time both. How about that? Part-time both. I still do consulting, and I do YouTube, and I do Twitch, and I do whatever else I can do to survive. So yeah, not full-time anything. Not full-time anything, which is pretty awesome. It's like the ultimate non-commit ever. I can't commit to full-time work, and I can't commit to full-time YouTube. It's like, yeah, but no, it's great. I love the opportunity I have right now to still be able to, still be able to be a software engineer, software developer, help and provide value to, a company or two. And then at the same time, get to spend time doing this stuff like this, stuff that I'm genuinely interested in or things I'm passionate about. Not that I'm not passionate about software engineering. It's just a good mix. It's a great mix. That's why I think that's why I can't commit to full-time anything. Anymore because I need an escape hatch or some kind of somewhere to put my creative energy. And before, when I was working full time, that was nights and weekends and days and not getting anything else done. So anyways, not full time anything. Aloha, how's it going? Check. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. Flowdash. Right now, I am converting a 3-phase 0U Rackmount PDU to a single-phase 120. How do you get 0U? Oh, is 0U on the side? Are those the vertical ones that go on the side? Maybe they are. That's pretty awesome. I know nothing about that. I mean, as you can tell, I don't even know if I understand what a 0U rack one, but I assume it's the vertical ones that, take 0U. Vertical in the back. Yeah, cool. Flowdash. Awesome. And then you're, converting to single phase 120. I assume it was 220 before. I'm way out of my league when I start talking about electricity. I'm just like, yeah, for me, it's binary. Does it turn on? Does it turn off? I'm not great at it, but yeah. Hey, be careful. That's all I have to say. But that's pretty awesome. That's such a great skill to have. Like you obviously know what you're doing to be able to do it. Such a great skill to have. I wish I had time to learn more to be able to do some of this stuff. So. Boris, my 6th attempt to get Fedora to work with my PG42UQ and 1080 graphics card. I don't know what a PG42UQ is. I assume that's some, I don't know. I assume it's a model of a machine, right? And so I hope you get it. I've honestly never tried Fedora. Well, I shouldn't say never. I mean, I loaded it. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago or something, when I was just like hopping around on every Linux distro, when I knew nothing about it other than like, hey, does it look cool? Does it have a good UI? So yeah, that's my extent to Fedora. I should probably look at it again because I hear good stuff about it. So, hey, how's it going? Hey Tim, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you too. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. Hitman, main server, mostly just decommissioning my old backup servers, Dell Vostro 460, and a Pavilion desktop from 2012. Checking on my HP Z210 NAS health and throwing together a temporary console until my KVM switch and rail shelf arrives. That is awesome. Dude, Bill Nash, how's it going? Sup, nerds? How's it going? Bill Nash in the house. How you doing? Hey, thanks for the continued support. 2 years, man. 2 years. Appreciate it, man. 24 months, 2 years. Thank you so much. Thank you. But Hitman, that is awesome. Decommissioning old stuff. Pavilion desktop from 2012. Man, Pavilion really kind of brings back some memories. My first PC that was mine was HP Pavilion. So it's like I have respect for HP Pavilions. Oh, but yeah, you don't hear that name too much anymore. And then NAS health and throwing together temporary console until my KVM switch and rail shelf arrive. Hey, looks like you got a lot going on. Sounds like some fun stuff, especially for Saturday. I hope you get your KVM switch soon and your rail shelf. So, anyways, let's see. Jimbo. Going back real quick. Oxstack PG42UQ is an Asus monitor /TV. Thank you. Thanks for tossing it in there. I didn't know that. I couldn't have figured that out unless I had that model. But thank you. Ox Stack Canary. Hey, Jimbo Slice, happy Saturday. My latest tinkering is with TrueNAS Scale. Ditching my Ubuntu server OS for it. So far, so good. Electric Eel with Docker is amazingly easy. That is awesome. I am so glad to hear that. I mean, I've been hoping for this. I've even been wishing for it. I've even been asking for it, and it's finally here. I know they announced it a while back, but it was officially released, 2 days ago, something like that. And I'm glad it's here. I haven't upgraded yet. That should be on my list of stuff to do. I need to, but I need to also, I want and I hope that macvlan stuff also works. Because if I can get macvlan to work with Docker networking, then that's going to be awesome. Because then that means my Docker stack doesn't have to be on a VM anymore. It can actually run on TrueNAS, and I flip-flopped and built a Docker machine and loaded it up, and then moved it to TrueNAS and back, and Kubernetes and back. But I'm really looking forward to possibly getting it back onto TrueNAS, mainly because it's on my NAS. Most of the data that I'm using for those apps is coming from my NAS, like Plex and stuff like that. And then on top of it, it's just less moving parts, less points of failure, right? If I have apps on one machine and my data on another machine, that's 2 points of failure. So either one of them could cause downtime for the other. And so I kind of want to consolidate that and get that all back on TrueNAS. I was doing that for a little bit with when they're on Kubernetes, and then I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. The biggest reason, sorry, maybe not the biggest, but another reason why I want to get it back on there is because I have my TrueNAS tuned really well. So, I have a bunch of drives. I have my slug. I have, my cache drives. I have lots of RAM. I have, Intel Optane SSDs. And so I've really tuned it to perform. And so when I put those apps and the storage that those apps are going to use, on TrueNAS, I know it's going to perform. And so I kind of want to take advantage of all that stuff, and ARC caching and all of that. I think I have 256 megs of RAM in there. So I want to take advantage of all of that stuff to really make it perform. And then that means for me, well, not really. It could mean one less machine, but for me it doesn't because it's virtual right now. So, but awesome. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it's working. And I have to see the new Docker stuff. I'm super excited for it. Super excited for it. I can't wait. Let's see. Sparky from now on. Yeah, that'd be a good name. That would be a good name. He obviously knows what he's doing. Let's see. Otherwise, I'm just looking to save money for the Sliger case. Okay, and the rest of my backup build stuff. Yeah, so that is awesome. I've been holding on to a Sliger case for a long time. I might actually get to finally use it this month or next month. So I've been waiting to build my new workstation for all of this. And I've been saving my Sliger case for it, and I'm really hoping that I can build it, this month or next month. So we'll see. We'll see how. We'll see if I have any money left. Oh, let's see. Meowdy. Hey, Meowdy. I like it. Spider. Meowdy. I am Utpa. I was on vacation in Canada and got the chance to see fall colors for the very first time in person. Hey, I am Utpa. That is awesome. Yeah, Canada. Anywhere, a lot of places north, of I guess, it just depends on where you are. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, fall colors in Canada, I've seen them twice now. Depends on where you're at. Like, we have fall colors here. It's awesome. Up in Canada, it just starts a little bit earlier. Well, it depends on where you're at in Canada. I'm actually north of some parts of Canada, so because Canada scoops down. But it is awesome. I've been to a couple of provincial parks and seen it in Canada. I've been to the Canadian Rockies and seen it, and it is just great. It is great. There's a science to it, but there's a lot of luck to it too. Depending on the time of year, depending on how much water or lack of water the trees got. It's I don't think anyone's figured it out. And I noticed this year that some of our trees didn't get as bright red as they usually do, because we have a couple that just turned so bright and fiery red, and it's been a few years since it's done that. I'm kind of looking forward to that. But glad you got to go to Canada, eh? And check it out, eh? And see fall colors. That is awesome, Upa. Awesome. Yeah. What province? I bet Quebec. I'm thinking Ontario. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Yocto adding, this is what we talked about earlier about expanding your HomeLab or your YWSDC along with some stuff in the public cloud. Utpa, thanks to Twingate, I was able to connect to the HomeLab from Canada, and I was able to handle some configuration during downtime. That is awesome. Yeah, VPNs are great. VPNs are great for sure. It was Ontario. Hey, I got it right. I promise I didn't look. I only say that because, that's where Toronto is, and, so I just guessed. And plus, it's pretty big. And it goes pretty far north too. Let's see. Hopefully next trip will be British Columbia. So the other place, so Vancouver. See, that's why if I guess Ontario, I'm like Toronto's there, the biggest city, and then the other one Vancouver. I mean, then there's what Calgary, which I really enjoy Calgary, or Edmonton, or there's plenty of other cities. And then, then you have Nova Scotia, you have Quebec, there's Montreal, there's a lot going on. I'm not going to name them all off. But focus. All right, I'm going to focus. You meant literally focused. I'm talking about figuratively right now too. Jimbo Slide, hey, nice shirt. Hey, thank you. I actually did a soft launch of this shirt. Yeah, this is my new HomeLab shirt. I call it HomeLab University. There's a seal right here that says it's on my shop, but I did a soft launch. Basically, I listed in the store. Didn't tell anyone yet. I got a little promotion that I'm going to do here shortly. Just wanted to get it there and make sure it's working. make sure everything was in stock. But yeah, this is my second shirt. I did the dark mode one, and this one is 100% designed in-house by me this time. My wife only helped me a little bit. She helped me a ton doing the dark mode one. This one, I did, and then I showed her, and she was like, "That's pretty awesome. Can I have one?" I said, "Yeah, you can buy one in the store." I will actually do that. I'll buy it for myself and probably pay the shipping and overhead, whatever, just so I can test the process again. And it's the easiest way to get something here. But anyways, this is I'm calling it HomeLab University, and HomeLab, and it talks about what I consider HomeLab is infrastructure as a hobby. And so there's a little seal that says infrastructure as a hobby, IAAH. It's my new acronym for it. And it's got a little server, and it's got, all this stuff and alumni and stuff in here. And so anyways, what I was going for was, kind of like a college shirt. If you look at like Berkeley shirts and stuff like that, I kind of like how it's just simple, navy and gold. And so that's what it is. So anyways, good eye, Jimbo Slice. And it just launched. It just launched. T-shirt weather for me. Never fear, Boris is here. I could probably do T-shirt today. At a 57 and sunny, I could do it. That's no problem at all. Hitman, hey, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Lots of happy Saturdays. Romeo, where can I get the shirt? Shop.technotim.live. Just Google TechnoTim shop. And I didn't announce them yet, so you guys are knowing before anyone. You guys are the first to know. I haven't told anyone. I just put it in the store, and then I wore it today. And so I'm glad you like it. But you can absolutely do it. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I didn't see all these yet. But yeah, you can absolutely get it in my shop. It's there. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell my inside group of YouTuber friends yet. So they could get one. So if they go, they go. Wasn't my plan, because I was going to, create a little marketing thing around it and share on social media. But I did too late. Cat's out of the bag. Bazo friendly. Currently, run Docker at home. All right. Kate's at work. Hey, I know that. I would love to work with Kate's at home, but the transition seems daunting. Any advice for making the transition? I want to learn more about Helm file, etc. Yeah, so if you're doing Kubernetes at work, you have a leg up on a lot of this. So you probably understand how it works, care and feeding, all of that stuff. The hard, and I'm assuming if you're running it at work, though, you might be doing it as a PaaS, right? Platform as a service. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just guessing. You might be using it as, a cloud service, and so you're not managing, the infrastructure underneath. So a real good place to... Someone's ordering. Oh, thank you. I'm getting alerts on my watch. Anyways, I need to integrate that into Twitch, because that would be cool. I don't know how, if I can, but anyways. If you really want to learn and do it at home, a really quick way, thanks guys, is I have a K3S playbook that'll help you spin it up. It helps you spin up Kubernetes high availability version on a couple of nodes. You could do it single node, you could do 3 node, you could do whatever you want. And if you know how to run Ansible playbooks, you just target 3 machines, 1 machine, and it'll create it about 5 minutes later. And then from there, you have an endpoint. You have your kube control API endpoint, then where you can install things, manage Kubernetes. You can use Helm to install things. I would recommend, if you're going to go down that route, and since you already have some experience with Kubernetes, I would recommend looking into something more, GitOps like, or GitOps friendly. And so basically treating a repo like your source of code. And there are 2 great products that help you do that right now, and this will probably help in your day job too, is Flux and Argo CD. These 2 are super popular. Argo is 100x, maybe 1,000x more popular. A lot of people use this to help not only visualize their Kubernetes, but also drive their DevOps processes through Git. So those are 2 to look at. And the reason why I mentioned that is because now you're talking about Helm files, and you'll have a Helm file for either Flux or Argo CD that you're configuring to get this thing deployed. So, man, you guys are blowing me up. Hey, thank you. I'm like, keep getting them. Thank you. I appreciate it. I assume that's what's going on, because I keep seeing the icon, not reading it. anyways, that's where I go. It sounds like you have a great start. You're doing Kubernetes at work. You're doing Docker at home. And you know, you might as well go the advanced route. I will say, though, I will say this because I've hosted Kubernetes at home. I'm hosting Kubernetes. You know, I do Kubernetes at home. I do Kubernetes in my colo, and I do Kubernetes at work. And I also do Docker at home. I will say, though, save your Docker environment for a little bit. You know, make sure it's what you want to do and you're getting what you want out of it, right? Because, you know, I learned the hard way multiple times to where I started doing everything in Kubernetes. And while a high availability system seems like the right fit for what we want to do at home, it's honestly, it's not great. And there's a lot of nuance in it. But for the most part, a lot of the containers that we use are stateful, so you can't run multiple. So they end up running on one node anyways. And if that node goes down, it's down until Kubernetes discovers it's down. And then hopefully it'll move it somewhere else. Default is 5 minutes. So there's a lot of, like, you know, nuanced in, like, you know, in running it at home and figuring out storage and either getting Rook or Longhorn and stuff going. Absolutely great to learn. But if you have something in there like Plex or, you know, or Jellyfin and your family depends on it, save that one for last. Just save that one for last. So anyways, I could talk about Kubernetes stuff all day, especially Docker stuff too. Hopefully that's giving you a little bit of insight. I don't mean to scare you at all. If you want to learn, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. I would start with some stateless workloads, websites, Nginx, stuff like that. And then get into stateful ones, because then you'll need storage, right? Then you'll need to figure out your storage solution. And that's the fun thing about picking a lot of those solutions, is you get to pick your own. You know, you don't have to use a storage provider from AWS, although it is great. And you don't have to use the load balancer they use. You don't have to use anything like that. And that's kind of the nice thing about doing it at home. You start to realize, oh, these are all opinions, right? AWS, GCP, Azure, you know, GKE, all of those hosted Kubernetes instances, they've applied their opinions to it. They're probably great opinions, but it's theirs. And so if you start to run Kubernetes at home, you're going to realize, like, oh, this is some batteries are included, but I need more batteries to get this thing to run. And that's where you get to make some decisions. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, or Talos. If you want to go, you want to go like immutable infrastructure, bootstrap Talos. Yeah, absolutely. That if you want to go hard right away, go hard. So yeah, for sure. I should have read that earlier. Hey, Aviator. Hey, thanks for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Aviator. Appreciate it. Good to see you. New Prime sub. And Spaghetti Code, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I can relate to Spaghetti Code. I can relate to that. That's me. That's me half the week, I feel like. Oh, especially some stuff I just recently kind of messed up. I didn't mess it up. I did a huge upgrade for work, and I'm not going to get into it, but I did a huge upgrade for work. It was like 3 weeks worth of work, and I had one line of code that was wrong, and that one line of code wreaked havoc. And it just kind of stinks that, you know, you put so much time in planning and migrating and rewriting code. And sometimes you can't plan for everything. And I made a mistake in it, and it wreaked havoc for a little while. So anyways, that's me. Hopefully that doesn't show up in my performance review. And if it does, hopefully they also remember, like, hey, the other 3 weeks of stuff I did right. For this one upgrade. Anyways, that's enough about me. Main server, mostly just decommissioning my old backup server. Oh yeah, we got into that. That is awesome. Hopefully you can get the Sliger case soon, and then have some real fun. We're probably having fun already, but Sliger cases are cool. Not only because they look cool, but they're arranged in a way that you can fit stuff you wouldn't normally fit in, like all-in-one water cooling, like I may do. So. Romeo Jr., I'm trying to upgrade my TrueNAS to Electric Eel. Have you had any luck with this? I didn't do it yet. And I was asking that same thing on Twitter. or X because I wanted to know if anyone was using macvlan. That's my litmus test for like, hey, can I move all of my apps over there? So if I can use macvlan, I can. So I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of holding out. I almost did it, but I'm like, dude, I'm working on a video. My video files that I'm working on are on my NAS. Like, why am I even considering upgrading it right now? I kind of had to put my blinders on that day and just like throw it out into social media and say, hey, has anyone done it yet? Meanwhile, I got to edit this video. So yeah, that's this goes back to what I was saying. Is like, hey, I value stability. And now I'm even kind of, shy about upgrading things on day one. Now, yeah, I mean, I'm not that shy, but do I trust it enough in the middle of a big video edit? No. No. Do I trust it enough to do it today? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If I wasn't editing that video, I would have already upgraded. We talked about this, but yeah, Yocto is doing Extra Life for PDXLAN with Craft Computing and their team out there, the 7th through the 10th. You check it out. They're doing Extra Life, PDXLAN. Check out Yocto, YWS, Craft Computing. Setting up Kates isn't the issue. Oh, all right. It's more about how to help shift the mindset from Docker Compose. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's GitOps. Do GitOps that'll change your mindset because there is no other way. There is no other way. If you're going to do GitOps, I mean, you could do GitOps and then start changing stuff in the UI or through kube control. But most of the time, that GitOps is going to run a reconciliation loop and put everything back because it becomes the source of truth. So I would recommend that. I would recommend going the GitOps route because then, like I said, you're going to have a leg up on everyone, and then you learn how to do Helm files, you learn how to set stuff up, you learn how to set up repos, Git repos, all of that. Yeah, for sure. Makes sense. Your thoughts on Spectre, speculative computing CPU cache? Whoa, Stack Canary. My thoughts on Spectre, speculative computing and CPU cache. I don't know anything about it. I wish I did. I wish I knew more about it because it sounds pretty awesome. First, when you said Spectre, I thought you meant the vulnerabilities in CPUs. I was like, whoa, we haven't talked about this Spectre in a long time. I wish I knew more. If I did know more, I would definitely speak on it. I'd speak as intelligently as I could on it right now. G'day, hey, how's it going? Sizzling, Spoonie, just watched the video this morning. What a cool org. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I think so too. They're trying to do good. They're trying to do good in a couple different ways. Like I said, they're trying to get, waste out of the landfill, and they're trying to get affordable tech to people who need it. And that's like, it's it's dual hone. I think there's a third. There's a third too, which is training. And so in that video, there was another story I kind of wanted to tell about their training and some of their community events, but I just couldn't work it in. But I will say here, I did ask them. I said, hey, what operating system do you load on these machines? I was like, come on, say Linux. I had no idea. And so what they said was, hey, you know what? We will put Windows 11 on it if it can run Windows 11 because that's what most people use. He said, but we do install Linux, or we can replace their old operating system with Linux if they want. And we even offer classes on helping to demystify Linux. And that was awesome. And I couldn't work that in and tease that story out. I just didn't have enough. I didn't have enough. I don't know. I didn't have enough to help get that story out. I don't know. I'm not a great writer. And so, the transitioning from point to point is really hard for me. And so when I write, I was like, how can I work in this other, point about community outreach and about getting Linux on the machines. And I was like, this is I feel like I'm forcing it. So, anyways, I agree. They're a cool organization. I'm happy they're here. Let's put it that way. Hey, Tim, I've been learning Python on the side, and not going to lie, I actually enjoy it more than JavaScript. I've never thought that I'd be making that statement, LOL. That's awesome, Utbud. That is awesome. Yeah, I've done a little bit of Python. I wrote an API in it using Flask, and that was pretty cool. And yeah. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I will say that, you know, I didn't do enough of it to like actually, you know, really understand everything. I was just like, cool, how do I create a Flask app and how do I create an API? And I created a web API just to serve another purpose, actually for one of my open source projects. It's like, cool, got that working. Okay, that's done. So I should spend more time on it too, because always server-side stuff, I still go with Node.js because I'm like, all right, I kind of know the language, you know, I know the tooling, and I can do the server side. But I should do some more Python. I want to do Go. That's really what I want to get into. You know, more of a statically typed language than scripting languages like both Python and JavaScript. So, E2011. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you. Watch out. Oh, here we go. You might not want to use anything else. Haha. Here, a senior Python dev rather learn Golang or Rust than go to Python. That's kind of what I was saying too. It's interesting because Python was you know, serving a lot of back-end code, I should say, in general. You know, there's a lot of, when Python came out, you know, your choices, I think, were, you know, I mean, you had a lot of choices, but when it came out and when it started to become super popular, it was like that or Java. That's what I felt like. And now, you know, obviously Rust and Golang has been out for a long time too, but now that they're growing in popularity, yeah, it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, I know Python is still probably the most or second most used language in the world. But it has some competitors, right? For Mindspace in the back end, you know, it had, you know, I think prior to that, you know, I'm not talking about super low level languages like C, C+, all that stuff. I'm talking about higher level languages. And on top of that, you know, Python's a scripting language. So I feel like, you know, when Python came out, it was competing against Java. And it's not too hard to compete against Java because people hate Java. I kid. But yeah, really, people do. I did Java for a little while, so I can say that. But I'm not just poking fun. But yeah, it's great to see. It's great that we have choices. We have choices for sure, and I'm glad you enjoy it. That's what I'm most happy about. Is that, hey, you tried a new language, you like it, you enjoy it. Keep going. Don't let that fade. Keep going. Yeah, Python is full batteries included. You don't want to go back anymore. That's the risk. No, I know what you mean. Because you get so much with the language that you don't get with a lot of the others. For sure. Oh, man. Vertical at the back. Yeah. Flowdash. Wait, vertical at the back. Oh, man, I totally missed this. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. This is going back into zero. UPS. Gotcha. Oxstack, Canary, what kind of hardcore tech goals do you have for learning? That you know, that one's tough. Like I've done some AI stuff, and I know everyone's burnt out on AI, right? But I've done some AI stuff, and when I say that, you know, it's no more than, you know, using Ollama and you know, using an endpoint to get, you know, stuff back from an LLM. You know, that stuff's pretty cool. But I've never like trained an LLM. I would like to have, you know, I would like to kind of train an LLM or some kind of model at some point. So I just know how to do it. So I'm more informed on how to do it. It might be easier than I'm thinking. I doubt it. I bet it's pretty hard. Some other things I mentioned earlier. I'd love to do Go. I'd love to do more Go. Like in my day job, I do a ton of TypeScript. I do it both front and back end. So I hate to say full stack, but I do. You know, I do. That's a Midwest thing. I do full stack, but I do JavaScript, TypeScript back end with Node.js, and I do front end. I can do JavaScript or TypeScript with anything. Browser, web, you know, React Native, React, Vue, whatever. Although I haven't done a ton of Vue, I would like to learn that some more. If that skill's like still, you know, growing. Yeah, there's so many things. You know, I'd like to grow more skills even in cloud stuff. You know, I only get to touch on a tiny bit of cloud. I shouldn't say a tiny bit. Like I do a ton of cloud stuff at work. But you know, it's a single cloud, so there's stuff I would like to know too. You know, about other clouds. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch. I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to do some more object detection stuff too with ML and train an object model. This is kind of going back instead of LLM. I want to do some object detection. And try to detect different objects, and not just different objects, but also like help identify those objects, right? Like you can think like animals or a bird, like how could it help detect what kind of bird? I don't know. So these are all things I think in my head. And it's a lot of wishful thinking. So I don't know. It's those are good answers. Those are good to think about. Those are good to think about for sure. Let's see. Supremo. All right, I like it. Air Supremo. Can I install Android on the PC? I tried Android x86 Prime OS, but it doesn't work. Could it be a driver issue or the processor is not supported? That was gonna be my guess. It was Android x86. I mean, because Android outside of that project, you know, isn't like compiled for x86 processors, and so that's, if you're using a PC, you're probably using an x86 processor. So that was going to be my suggestion. The other thing is, like, if you want to emulate Android, I think there's like BlueStacks, right? But I don't think you want to. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what you want to do. So you could look at BlueStacks if you want to run Windows and then emulate Android, right? Just run Android too. You can do that. All right, and you could run BlueStacks. There might be another one out that's out now too. But that's all emulation, right? You're emulating a device, right, and running that. Whereas maybe you want to install it on a PC, like wipe the OS and run it as your main operating system. x86 Android x86 was going to be the only thing that I could think of. And again, if you want to emulate stuff, I doubt you do, but you could always install the Android simulator. And the Android simulator, once you get it installed, you know, install the Android developer tools, install the simulator, then you get, you know, a simulated Android device that you can do whatever you want with it. Connect your Google account, install apps and stuff like that. But I don't know what you're trying to do, but if you're trying to use it as your main OS, yeah, you're pointing at exactly what I was thinking too. Bliss OS, I like it. Oh man, yeah, I like it. Maybe that's something else. It's not Oxtim. It's kind of disappointing. It's, the hex prefix. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, it's the hex prefix. All right. So Stack Canary, hex prefix. Yeah, it's the 0x. I have to deal with like so many names all the time, but I like it. All right, I'm just going with hex stack canary. I'm gonna go with canary. How about that? I'm gonna go with canary. I actually like canaries. I like birds. Aviator, hey Tim. Speaking of TrueNAS Scale and Electric Eel, have you had any problems with accessing TN? TrueNAS. I was gonna say Tennessee. With accessing TrueNAS with traffic, everything was fine before I upgraded, but it just does not get to the TrueNAS logo when accessing via traffic. Everything works fine via IP, maybe something to do with the headers or something, but I'm lost. So Aviator, I haven't done it yet. But I'm doing exactly what you're doing with the old version. So I'm running, the previous version of TrueNAS, and I have traffic in front of it as my, reverse proxy. I don't know off the top of my head because I have no idea. Another thing to look at is like, just sign out of it. Look at the path, see if there's maybe a different path, that they're using when you sign in. And if it is headers, you might be able to look at my examples of headers that I have in my traffic repo or documentation, because I use the same headers everywhere. They're headers that I found that I need in my home environment. Probably wouldn't use them all if it was public stuff, but I do need them in my home environment. So might want to take a peek there. But Aviator, if I do run into it, I might run into it tomorrow because I think I'm going to upgrade. But yeah, thank you. Lies. $, the X prefix. I like it. Let's see. RVLab. RVLab is dead. Oh man. I was living vicariously through you for this RVLab, because it was like a whole home lab in an RV and all these PCs and stuff. But let's see. The RVLab is dead. My ESX machine is declining to stay running, even in BIOS. Rip my 2950X Threadripper. Replace the cooler. Troubleshot everything down to either CPU or the X399 motherboard. I can still replace both with some effort to get replacements, but it's Russian roulette if I replace one or the other, but not both. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough when you have to make that judgment call. Is it the CPU? Is it the motherboard? I mean, if you are gonna bet, I mean, take this with a grain of salt. If that were me, and I wanted this system to work, and I had to make one bet, that's tough. But I would probably go with motherboard, only because there's like so many more, there's so many more moving parts. There's so many other things that are going on. Where I've never had like a CPU die. I've never had a CPU die unless I bent the pins myself accidentally. And even then it'll still kind of run. And maybe I've just been lucky, but, take it as a grain of salt. But if I had to bet and you had to replace one, if you said, Tim, you got to replace one pick, I would say, let's replace the motherboard. There's so many more factors for something to go wrong. But dude, I hope you get it, man, because like I was loving this journey with your RV. Because I dream about living the van life, even though I probably would never survive. Just like having this tech wagon, it sounds awesome. Sliger Case is awesome. My desktop is now dead. Lab machines are both Sliger, Cerebus, X cases, so tiny for full ATX. Awesome. Good to know. My Sliger case is a Rackmount one, so I'm super excited about doing it. Real quick, because I forgot a couple of follows. Chris Harold and I called out that one. Hey, thanks for follow. Appreciate you both. Thank you. Okay. Keep doing this weird breathe-in thing where, anyways. Surprisingly, I did not go to Toronto in Niagara Falls since I always go there. I was enjoying more of the countryside and sightseeing. I'm a nature life guy. Hey, I am too. I like going where people don't go. I'm there too. Oh, the hex prefix. Oh yeah, here we go. Adam Prime. Due to limited care. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh yeah. Let's see. Kanoa. Hey, just try Gatus Uptime. Anyone know how to add custom CSS to it? I don't. It's been a while since I look at it. I used it for a while, but I kind of. Oh, there it goes. Does Tim still use Gatus? I don't. Actually, I don't right now. I should, but I don't. Once I move my stuff back to Docker, I kind of have to choose a lot of things all over again. And so for my public services, I'm using Uptime Robot for my public stuff because I can't depend on my own infrastructure. As bad as that sounds, I can't depend on my own infrastructure to know if something's down, right? And I get into this inception scenario, like how do I monitor, my stuff if the monitoring system is inside the stuff? So I need someone to watch the watcher, right? And so instead of someone watching the watcher, what I do is I just use Uptime Robot. So, but for my internal stuff, I don't monitor them anymore because I had to do some shifting around. So once I move stuff back to Docker, I'm going to do some re-networking too, flatten some of my VLANs. I'm going to simplify a lot of stuff. I'm definitely going to simplify a lot of stuff. I'm trying to simplify my life. It's already super complicated. Like if you can imagine, like I make things way more complicated than they need to be. And that's one area where I'm going to start simplifying. And another reason why I went back to Docker for my home production, I went back to Docker. And arguably, even for my production stuff, I'm going to be honest. I was like, man, I could probably get by with just Docker easily. I could probably get by with LXCs, for my public facing stuff. And I'm not ready to go there yet, although the simplicity does sound fantastic. I'm not ready to give up my Kubernetes chops at home. So I want to keep those. And that's part of the reason why. I want to feel the pain. I want to feel the pain of Kubernetes, managing my own Kubernetes cluster. 2 of them outside of the, 5 at work. Anyways, let's see. Well, I like it. Troubleshooting, getting some errors. I like it. Let's go down here. Bold Destroyer. Hey, Tim. I am new to the world of self-hosting, and I watched your videos and set everything up. Oh, wow. Awesome. Thanks for that. They have been very helpful. Are you planning on making a video on how to perform the setup on a Raspberry Pi? I got stuck on my Raspberry Pi throwing a kernel panic all the time. You know, not specifically. Not specifically. I mean, when it comes to like a Raspberry Pi, you know, I just think, oh, okay, well, it's an ARM processor, and you know, it's just a different architecture. And so I don't really dive deep into like, here's how you do it on a Pi, here's how you do it on a desktop, here's how you do it on an x86 processor, and so on and so forth. But you know, a kernel panic, not good. So it means a driver or something is making your system crash. I don't know. That one's tough. That one's tough. I'd say I don't know what OS you're using. But I've had a lot of luck using Ubuntu Server on Raspberry Pi. And I know that Pi OS is out and it's awesome. But I've also found that Ubuntu Server on my Pis, that's what I run on all of them. Super stable. I run the LTS and they're great. So I'm not even a good candidate for Pi stuff because I don't run Pi OS. Maybe you're not either, but I run Ubuntu Server on my Pis, and you know I haven't had any problems other than you know the typical micro SD, you know, having problems or random weird stuff. So yeah. I wish I could help more. We do have a Discord where you can join and talk about that specifically. We have an operating system channel. We also have a hardware channel, and that somebody might be able to, you know, lend some help. I would try to lend some help too, for sure. Signs point to my dataset permissions. I think, you guys, thank you so much. Oh man, dub data. Oh man. Permissions for web hosting. When I see that, I'm like, oh my gosh. That just reminds me of all the Microsoft IIS days when I start to see stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, so painful. There is a bypass at the moment. Oh yeah, 13, 14. Oh, you guys are troubleshooting this stuff. I love it. Let me find down here. Hey Tim, in your view, how should I go about creating a Docker container I can deploy on GitHub that will allow me to work on a project from any PC without having ENV issues? Trying to build something fast, API, Angular, Postgres. I like this. So what you're saying is, hey, I want to build a container that is my dev environment so that no matter where I go, I just have to pull down this container and I can develop inside of it. I'm thinking that's what you're saying. Let me see. That'll allow me to work on a project from any PC without having, any environment issues. So, I mean, that's what dev containers are. So I think that's what dev containers are. I don't know if you're familiar with dev containers, but I think VS Code supports them. And dev containers allow you to build out your environment so that when you're working on any machine, you can spin up that container and run your code inside of it. And so they're pretty cool because then you, like you said, environmental issues. You don't have to worry about, Golang or whatever, your C++ compiler being installed or Node.js being installed or anything like that. So I think if you Google dev containers, I don't know if Microsoft made them, someone made them, or VS Code supports them. Look at dev containers, and there's a spec for them. And there's a spec file you can use to tell your IDE to use them. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I haven't gotten into them yet. I should. I do it the old school, not super old school way, but I do install stuff on my machine. I typically use Brew, like my work dev machine is a MacBook, and I do use Brew to install stuff. And then on top of that, I'll use some kind of version manager like RVM or PyEnv or RVM or NVM for Node. So, but I would love to start using dev container, because then it's like just get Docker containerd on it, pull that down, and then you're like, sweet, everything's running. I like it. Yeah, I should look more into it. Anyone else having problems with their UDM Pro the last couple of releases being buggy, screen freezing up, on the network settings. TD5150. I recognize that. I mean, not just your name, but as a model. I don't know, 5150? I'm trying to think, like, is that a model of something? Anyways, I know your name. And I know you've been, in the channel. I'm just trying to think, like, what is that a model of something that I know? Is it like a laptop? I don't know. Anyways, me personally, I haven't. I have a UDM SE. I mean, and I'm in that thing daily. I usually have a tab of it open just to kind of check on my wireless stuff. And, the IBM PC. Okay, 5150. Yeah, I recognized 5150 from somewhere. And again, not your handle, but I was thinking, like, what product is that? I think there's something else too. Was it Tandy? I don't know. Anyways, I'm like trying to figure it out. Anyways, I haven't Van Halen album. I like it. Van Halen. All right, I like it. Yeah, Van Halen. Wait. 5150 is also the code for an involuntary psych hold. What is going on? It was the first IBM PC. I like it. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting schooled. Now, hey, dude, Bill Nash, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the bits. 50. All right, from the source, Van Halen. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. But going back to this, I gotta do the focusing because my camera doesn't have the smart focus. Maybe my next camera will. I haven't, to be honest. I haven't. I have had some other problems with, I can't put my finger on it. Like, is it one of my switches? It's a long story. I don't know if it's like a cable or one of my 10 gig ports, but every now and then it'll lose connection to one of my other switches, which stinks when this happens. But no, I wish I had some info for you. A good place to always look is, on the Unify website. Under their releases, people are pretty vocal about when things go wrong. And also, like, if you're having something go wrong, like, Unify, like, the free support now is actually pretty good. And you can submit a support ticket right from your UDM. So I would recommend going that route because that's super easy. You don't need to fill it much out. But you can file a support ticket right from your UDM. And so if you think it's something larger, it's something with the release, I would check on their releases page and see if people, are having a similar issue because people are, like I said, are very vocal when things go wrong. And, it might be fixed in a alpha or beta version that you could try. Or just submit an issue. If you don't see anything there, they love getting the support bundles or whatever they are. You always see UI Glenn. He's like a legend on there because he answers everything. But he's usually like, yeah, just create a support thing and send us your bundle. We'll figure it out. So hopefully that helps. And thanks for explaining the Van Halen. I like it. Yeah. All right, guys. Let me see. I'm going to see if there's one that is, 5150 IBM. Speed Wiener. I just clicked on it. DBTech and Novaspirit Tech on YouTube have some good series on HomeLabs on Raspberry Pi. There you go. A couple years old, but maybe worth a look. Yeah, for sure. Novaspirit Tech he did a ton of stuff on Raspberry Pi and HomeLabs. DBTech too. Yeah, good point. Hope Novaspirit Tech is okay too. Anyways, has health issues. So, anyways, let's end on this. Well, that is very sad. I hope he's well, and this kind of plays into that. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I hope you guys are. Eddie Van Halen named his studio after the album, The California 5150 Law. Man, I learned so much about Van Halen. I love it. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in today, for throwing out your questions, for there was follows, there was subs, resubs, prime subs, there was bits, and lots of follows, and most of all, lots of chat talking about tech stuff. It's super fun. This is my one chance a week to talk about stuff where people kind of, for the most part, understand what I'm talking about. You guys understand it. But if I go anywhere else and talk about any of this stuff, people are like, what? What? Go outside. So anyways, I appreciate it. If you have something you want to share, something I didn't cover, or I skipped over your comment accidentally, you can share it in Discord. We have a Discord full of I think we're at 10,000 people now. It's full. Yeah, it's a lot of people, a lot of channels, and a lot of chit chat about tech stuff. So I'd like it if you join. Low ping, pretty laid back. If you need me, yeah, you can absolutely ping me there. Ping me on X, Blue Sky, wherever, you name it, and I'll try to get back to you. And Silverius, thank you for the Discord link. How's it going, Silverius? Weekend is half over. I know. That's how I feel today too. When this ends, I'm like, man, all I got now is Saturday night and Sunday, and I already had my, half a Friday night and then, half of this day. So anyways, yeah, weekend is half over. Just enjoy the night. And just know that, hey, if you don't work on the weekends, you can take it easy tomorrow. So anyways, have a happy Saturday. Have a great rest of the day. Again, if you need me, I'll be places, and take care. Be good to each other. Take care, folks.